My career's been pretty insane. Starting my early 20s, I worked on a movie called The Score with Robert De Niro, Marlon Brando, and Edward Norton, who were by far three of my favorite actors ever, and Frank Oz was the director. I worked on a Michael Douglas movie. Brittany Murphy was in that as well. And then I started delving more into independent film. I worked with Adam McGoyan. I worked with a lot of Oscar-nominated directors. But probably the one project I'm most proud of is that I spent about 4 or 5 years producing and editing a feature film that was called The Death of Indie Rock. It was just being able to see that poster on the wall and that the names on the marquee. That's what meant everything. It was a marathon we ran together, and we got through it. And then 9/11 happened 5 days after I moved to Los Angeles, and the economy went down the toilet. From there, I really started struggling. I moved back to Canada, back to the East Coast, and I ended up moving to Montreal at age 30. Basically, right when I arrived here, the economic crisis went full stream. This is 2008, and it felt like 2001 all over again for me, like the story repeating itself. I was working on a documentary series. I thought things were going well, and then after a month or two, my producer stopped talking to me. I couldn't get him on the phone, and it ended up turning out that one of our financiers froze our bank accounts because of the economic crisis, some kind of political issues. So the job went down the toilet itself. It kills your self-esteem. It really makes you look within yourself, and you kind of have to go one way or the other. Like I said, you can sink into a pit of depression, or you can say, what am I really about? What am I really passionate about at life? What can I do to make changes to live my life better? I started seeing a therapist as well as going to YES, and I started going to support groups as well. I kind of did all three things together. It was very hard for me to walk in those doors at first, to be honest, and my first therapist was horrible. But I ended up getting a second therapist who was literally my Robin Williams Good Will Hunting person in my life. And so I found using all these resources together, it really helped me slowly pull together the pieces, because you get in that dark place. You get in a dark cloud where you think the world's really collapsing in on you. And so if you don't seek out help, it's quicksand. When I first moved to Hollywood, I was going to work on a Chris Penn movie. Chris Penn's no longer with us. And they ended up hiring a guy the day before I interviewed. And the thing is, that job would have got me into the editors union. I would have been making, I think my starting salary would have been $45-50 US an hour. And all these things would have fallen into place that way. But I was miserable. I was far from home, and I was in a part of the industry I didn't want to be in. So in hindsight, it was probably the best thing that happened to me. That failure or setback taught me exactly what I didn't want in life. When you kind of put the puzzle pieces together, it's not about the money for me. It's about, being able to look at yourself in the mirror in the morning. I find that by me telling my story, it gets other people to come out of their shell as well. And now working at AMI-Quebec, I do that 40 hours a week, so I'm giving back to the community and just showing that there's an ability to reconcile and recover from even the worst things that can happen to you, that there is a silver lining to grow from something pretty horrible, and that you don't have to be a victim your entire life. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I'm the man I am now because I'm at this job now because of it, and I'm very happy in life. So I'm very content that I've had the journey that I've had, because I'm pretty in love with the type of person I am right now.